Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second session of this two-part series that we did, What's Happening to the Rivers of Pune. Last week, just 8 days ago, we saw the alternatives that are available for river rejuvenation. And after the Chipko Andolan, many of us had several questions that were needed to be answered about the status of the trees, the status of the rivers, some general common questions about the rivers as well. We tried to answer those. We'll share the link to that session in the chat box in just a moment. Today's session is about the current status of the river and what is happening at the moment as we are speaking. All three of our speakers today have a lot of experience on ground, and before this Chipko Andolan happened and before river issues came into the limelight, so to say. So our first speaker today is Sarang Yadvadkar. He is an architect and technical consultant. He has been working on river encroachments and pollution for the past 20 years, and very particularly, he has been working on the aspect of urban flooding. He has been a member of the planning committee for Pune City's development plan of 2017 to 2037, and he has been awarded multiple times, one of which is the Bhagirath Prayas Samman of 2020. So without any further ado, I'll hand over to our first speaker, Sarang Yadvadkar. Sarang, sir, over to you. I'll add a few announcements also. If you have any questions about what any of the speakers is saying, please drop them in the chat box. We will address them after all the speakers are done. And right in the end, towards the last 15 minutes of the session, each one of us can unmute and share any comments, any thoughts, any further questions that they have. Before that, we'll have a moderated question and answer session. Sarang sir, please take over.
Can you see my screen, Shatakshi?
Yes, it's just coming on.
Yeah. Yeah. So, should we proceed in English or in Marathi?
Yes, मराठी मध्ये पण ठीकच आहे. आपण मागचा सेशन सुद्धा मराठी मध्येच केला. सो हा सुद्धा मराठी मध्येच होऊ शकतो.
So you have given me that permission to talk in Marathi also. Thanks.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So before I start, हे जे पुण्याचं रिव्हरफ्रंट डेव्हलपमेंट आहे, याचं जे काही आम्ही अभ्यास केलेला आहे, सगळ्यांनी मिळून अभ्यास केलेला आहे. तर त्याच्यातल्या ज्या काही फॅक्ट्स आहेत या तुमच्याशी आम्ही शेअर करणार आहोत. पण ते सुरू करायच्या आधी माझी शताक्षी तुला एक रिक्वेस्ट आहे की मी ही आजच्या आपल्या झूम मीटची लिंक आयुक्त विक्रम कुमार, सिटी इंजिनियर प्रशांत वाघमारे, चीफ प्रोजेक्ट इंजिनियर बोनाला, सुपरिंटेंडिंग इंजिनियर युवराज देशमुख, एन्व्हायरमेंटल ऑफिसर मंगेश दिघे, चीफ इंजिनियर वॉटर रिसोर्सेस डिपार्टमेंट, डिस्ट्रिक्ट कलेक्टर अँड डिव्हिजनल कमिशनर सौरभ राव, या सगळ्यांना पाठवली होती. गार्डन सुपरिंटेंडेंट त्यांनाही पाठवली होती. पण एक्सेप्ट गार्डन सुपरिंटेंडेंट कोणाचंही याच्यावर उत्तर आलेलं नाहीये की आम्ही याला उपस्थित राहू किंवा नाही. सो दॅट शोज देअर अपॅथी टुवर्ड्स द सिटीझन. मी त्यांना विनंती केली होती की तुम्ही हे प्रोजेक्ट प्रपोनंट आहात, त्याच्यात बरेच जण येणार आहेत, पुण्याचे सिटीझन्स असणार आहेत, तेव्हा त्यांच्या प्रश्नांना उत्तर देण्यासाठी तुम्ही आलात तर फार बरं होईल. आय रिक्वेस्टेड देम, पण ते काय आलेले दिसत नाहीयेत. कोणी आले असले तर प्लीज रेज युअर हँड्स. थँक्यू. सो लेट अस स्टार्ट नाउ. सो इट इज पुणे रिव्हरफ्रंट डेव्हलपमेंट. खूप सध्या चर्चेत असलेलं हे प्रोजेक्ट आहे आणि याला बरेच याच्या बाबतीत मतभेद निर्माण झालेले आहेत. काय फॅक्ट्स आहेत हे आपण बघूया. बेसिकली हॅलो.
सर, सॉरी फॉर द इंटरप्शन. इथे काही लोक इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग सुद्धा आहेत, सो
Okay.
थोडंसं मिक्स लँग्वेज असली तर
Sure. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. No problem. So let us see what are the facts as far as this project is concerned, particularly with respect to the existing situation, the detailed project report of the project itself, and various legal provisions. Now, this is the Google satellite image. Okay. In this image, we can see Pune city here. This is Pune city, and these are the rivers. These are various rivers that enter into the city. Those are Pauna, Mula, Ram Nadi, Dev Nadi, Mutha. And so 5 rivers enter into the city. They merge with each other within the city, and then they flow out as one single river, that is Mula Mutha. We have Pauna, Kasarsai, Mulshi, Temgar, Varasgaon, Panshet, Khadakwasla. These dams on the immediate upstream. Kasarsai is a relatively smaller dam, but other dams are big dams, and they are hardly at a distance of few kilometers from the city on the upstream side, as well as they are very close to each other. That is very important. Now, in this context, we need to see what Terry had said. In 2009 and 2010, the Energy and Resources Institute of India, they conducted a thorough study of Maharashtra state as far as impact of climate change is concerned, and how to mitigate, how to adapt to that climate change, impacts of the climate change. They have submitted a very comprehensive report to the state government in 2014. This is the report. And what does that report say?
Sarang sir,
Yeah.
sorry for the interruption again. एकदा स्क्रीन शेअर स्टॉप करून परत एकदा शेअर करता का? काहीतरी बॉक्सेस दिसत आहेत स्क्रीनवर.
Okay.
All clear. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So what does Terry say? They have divided the entire state into 6 divisions. Out of that, Pune division in 2030, the rise in annual rainfall is going to be by 32.5%, and up to 2070, it is going to be, their annual rainfall is going to rise by 37.5%. This is a huge rise. More than 30% is a huge rise, and in fact, what is being observed is the actual rise in annual rainfall is more than what is predicted. So they are conducting additional studies for this. And more importantly, what they have said, Shatakshi, yeah.
Yes.
They have said that a general trend in the precipitation suggests that for the Sahyadri, there would be increased rainfall with reducing number of rainy days. Means we are going to get increased rainfall. Our rain, we are on the eastern edge of Sahyadri, and they are clearly stated that in Sahyadri there is going to the rainfall is going to increase, but the rainy days will be reduced. Means the simple meaning is that the intensity of the rainfall is going to rise. We are going to experience more events of cloudbursts, and we all know cloudburst means floods everywhere. In 2019, we have experienced it from a very close distance as far as Mula, Mutha, or even the small tributary Ambilodha is concerned. Now, these are the 4 important components of the DPR. Main report, hydrology and hydraulic report, annexure 2 hydrology and hydraulics, and environmental impact assessment. These are the four major components. Well, there are a few other parts also of the DPR, and in the 1034 pages of these four reports, two words, climate change, are not even mentioned, even once, except in the long form, where they have given the long form of MOEFs and CC. So you can imagine, or we can really know that climate change has no place in riverfront development. They have not even mentioned it. Now, what are the objectives? Objectives as given in the DPR are: first objective, topmost objective of this project is reduce risk of flooding. Second is clean the river and make it pollution free. Something is wrong, Shatakshi.
We can see the screen.
Yeah, but I am clicking, but this next screen is not coming. Yeah. Third is retain and replenish water. Fourth is create a continuous public realm along the river. And 5 is conserve and enhance heritage structures. There are few more objectives also, but these are the topmost 5 objectives. And remember, reduce risk of flooding is the topmost objective, and nothing wrong in that. The screen बदलत नाही आहेत.
इथे खालती बॉटम लेफ्टला जे 2 arrows दिसतील ना केल्यावर कर्सर हलवल्यावर त्यांनी ट्राय करा.
Just one sec. I can't see such arrows.
Okay. Right click करून next slide.
The problem.
एकदम top ला next.
Yeah. So actually the hydrology and hydraulics report of this DPR says that riverfront, on page number 25, it is mentioned that riverfront is not a flood control scheme, and as such, it is not supposed to provide greater protection to the areas on river banks, which have even otherwise been damaged by floods. Now, say, on one hand, you are saying that protection from flood, reducing the flood levels is your topmost objective. And in a corner of the DPR, you are completely getting away from it by way of this disclaimer. You are clearly saying that this is not your responsibility. The flood levels may not reduce. So what is the problem? Why such a disclaimer? And why, in case of such a disclaimer, why such DPR is accepted by PMC? In fact, I discussed it with many corporators. They said that we are not even made aware of such a disclaimer. So, project consultant has very subtly shrugged off his responsibility of reducing the flood levels, which is the topmost objective of this 5,000 crore project. In fact, why he is doing so? In fact, Annexure 17, here they have given Annexure 17 and Annexure 25. They have given this is from the hydraulics report. Okay. These are the flood levels. Water surface elevation means flood levels. This is the first one, 544.32, is the flood level of Mutha near confluence with Mula. Sorry, this is Mula river near confluence with Mutha in the natural situation, in the present circumstances. And the water surface elevation is 544.32. And output of Mula river up to Sangam for the same discharge in channelized section means after completion of the project, it is going to rise to 545.85. This is not our conclusion. This is as it is stated in the detailed project report, in the hydraulic study of the report. So rise in flood level of Mula River is by 1.53 meters, means 5 feet. 5 feet vertical rise will lead to kilometers of submersions on both the banks of the rivers. And this should not have been allowed at any cost, but the corporation has allowed it. Not only that, this is Mutha River. Okay, this is the map which is available with PMC itself. And all these blue streaks are different streams, different tributaries, small and large, connected with Mutha River. They are bringing in huge quantities of water in the river during rainy season because of the surface runoffs. So the flow, this is called as free catchment area. This is on the downstream of dam, but within the city and on the upstream of the city. This is called as flow, free catchment area, and the flow, there is no control over the flow from the free catchment area. And in Pune, all these rivers receive 4,248 cubic meters per second of flow from free catchment area. This is a huge flow. The total area of the free catchment is 1,296 square kilometers. And the flow, this flow of 4,248 cumecs has not been considered while working out the flood levels. No, in hydraulics report, this flow has not been considered. This is a big mistake. They have, it's not that they are not aware of it. It is mentioned there in the DPR, but clearly it is not considered in the calculations. So we are going to receive much more flood than what they have considered. This is the confluence. On the top, this is Mutha River. On the bottom, it is Mula River. After confluence, they flow out as Mula and Mutha River. And this is the Naik Island. Very famous and beautiful Naika bait. See, these are the levels mentioned in the DPR for 100 years flood after completion of the project. Now you can see near confluence, the level of Mutha River, flood level of Mutha will be 544.1 meter. For Mula, it is going to be 544.85 meters. And for Mula Mutha, it is 546.65 meters. It means the water flowing from Mutha will rise. Can you imagine water flowing downstream suddenly rises? And this rise is 2.55 meters, more than 8 feet. So how the water coming from Mutha River will rise suddenly at the confluence and then again will start flowing downwards, downstream? It is physically not possible. So, but these are the figures from the hydraulic report of the DPR. The water coming from Mula River also is going to rise. So let us see the longitudinal section of the rivers. This is the longitudinal section. See, this is confluence. This is Mutha River flowing down and down. And suddenly water rises here by 2.55 meters and then again starts flowing down. This is impossible. This is the flood level they have shown in the DPR. And the actual flood level will be like this, because it has to be above this point. Now you can see how many bridges will be submerged because of this project, because as the flood levels are rising. This is a letter given by the Commissioner, Mahapalika Ayukta Karyalaya, written to the Chief Secretary, Water Resources Department. What they have said, Commissioner has said that cross-section of the river will be increased. Nadicha Katched Wadhun. So he has said that the cross-section of the river will be increased in this project. This letter is written on 6th of October 2020. But in another letter, what he has said, this is a chart filed by him to the Chief Engineer of Water Resources Department. In this chart, see, flow area, okay, water surface elevation and flow area. Existing here is 1860 square meters, existing flow area of Mula River near Sangam, and the proposed is 1151. So the flow area cross section of the river will be reduced 80 from 1860 square meters to 1151 square meters. At the bottom, water surface elevation, that is the flood level, it is rising from 544.2 to 545.89. So it is the project itself says, the commissioner himself says that we, on one hand, he says that we are not going to reduce the cross section of the river, but while giving this chart, it is clearly stated that there will be massive reduction in the cross section. And not only that, because of the reduction, flood levels are also rising. Reduction in cross-sectional area is by 38.08%, and rise in flood level here is 1.69 meters, that is 5 feet 7 inches. That's a massive rise in flood levels. It is going to be like this. This is the original cross-section as given by the Water Resources Department. This is the existing red flood line. Lower is the blue flood line. It is given in the DPR at page number 79. These will be the embankments, RCC embankments constructed right in the riverbed, narrowing the river, pinching the river, reducing the width of the river. There will be concrete or soil filled up behind these embankments, which we can see around Bund Garden or Kalyani Nagar. In spite of this, corporation claims that red line will come down by 2 meters and blue line will come down by 3 meters. After reducing the width of the river, by reducing the cross section by 38%, corporation says that the flood levels are going to come down, which is technically impossible. So why they are doing it actually? The original width of the river is this much, huge, and they are going to dump debris and construct embankments on both the banks. At Bund Garden, the original width of the river is 700 meters. 700 feet. In 700 feet, they have constructed embankments on both the sides by 150 meters. So the width of the river is being reduced to 400 feet. 400 feet. And these embankments later on are going to be used for commercial purpose, like restaurants, food plazas, parking, car parking, etc. So that is the real purpose behind it. At many places, even they are constructing the embankments above the level of the surrounding ground. So what will happen to the water, to the surface runoffs, which normally flow into the river, but because of these embankments, they will be stopped over here, and the pluvial flooding will take place on both the banks of the river. Within city, this is the cross section given in the DPR. The width of the river will be reduced to 90 meters. Vertical RCC walls will be built and width of the river will be reduced by 90 meters. Now, near PMC, behind PMC, this is the construction of metro. The width of the river as of now is more than 150 meters. So from 150 meters, they are going to reduce it to 90 meters. From 150 to 90 meters, what will happen? Will the water be able to flow through such a narrow section? They are converting. Can you imagine? This is a cross section of a river or a canal. It's a canal, concrete canal. Corporation claims that CWPRS have examined the total DPR and they have given clearance to this project. They have said everywhere like that. But when we asked CWPRS under RTI, this is the information we received from CWPRS. They have clearly stated that CWPRS did not conduct any study for RFT of PMC, and CWPRS is not clearing authority in the matter. So all citizens, not only citizens, but even MOEFCC, state government, is completely misguided, misled by corporation, saying that they have got clearance from CWPRS for this project. Now, Indian standards, this is the Bible we follow everywhere in construction. There are certain guidelines given for alignments and construction or spacing of embankments along the rivers. And here what the Indian standards say, embankments should be aligned on the ridge of the natural banks of the river where land is high. Means beyond the edge of the river, you can construct the embankments. But completely flouting these standards, the embankments that are being constructed by a PMC in this project are right on the riverbed, right on inside blue line, which is actually a prohibitive zone. No construction is permitted on that zone. Such are the embankments. These are concrete embankments. This is the original saucer shape of the riverbed, and it will be converted into steps like this. Now, what will happen because of this? The river is connected to multiple aquifers. Some aquifers bring water into the river. Some aquifers take the water away from the river and recharge the ground water table and wells, bore wells. These aquifers will get permanently disconnected from the river. This is going, because of this, water table will be depleted permanently. No thought has been given to this. Now, let us see what is going to happen to the pollution. Whether after this project, the rivers are going to flow clean or not. Current water supply to PMC from irrigation department is 1732 MLD, million liters per day. Groundwater extraction in city is 310 MLD. So the total water consumption is 2042 MLD. These are the figures we have received from various government organizations. As per standards, sewage generation is 80% of the water consumed. So we are generating 80% of 2042 MLD, which is 1634 MLD. This is the total sewage generated within Pune city, and present treatment, what sewage treatment is only 477 MLD, not even 30%. We are not even treating 30% of the sewage generated by us. Corporation has proposed some sewage treatment plants. They are proposing it since 2015. They haven't yet completed even the land acquisition required for the STPs. So the total proposed STPs are 528 MLD. So the total sewage treatment capacity will be 1005 MLD. Even after completing all sewage treatment plants, even if we consider that they are operated at 100% efficiency, our total sewage treatment capacity will be 1005 MLD. So there will be deficit of 629 MLD after completion of JICA and riverfront development projects. So 629 MLD is 62,900 tankers of sewage, raw sewage, will be released in rivers without any treatment. And remember, JICA is an independent project where PMC is proposing new sewage treatment plants. It has nothing to do with RFD. Riverfront development is a totally different project. And corporation is confusing the citizens that STPs are proposed under riverfront development project. That is not the case. We have nowhere we have opposed this project of JICA. We are opposing only riverfront development. Now, what will happen to the traffic of the city? This is Mutha River. This is Jangli Maharaj Road. This is the riverbed road, and thousands of vehicles, particularly two-wheelers, travel from Kothurud side to city side to up to Shanwarwada by this road. The length of this road is around 3 kilometers. They cross the river on Baba Bide Bridge and go to the city. Thousands of two-wheelers in the morning and thousands of two-wheelers in the evening. They return. This road and Baba Bide Bridge will be pulled down for this project. So what will happen to the traffic? Nothing has been, no solution has been given to this. No traffic study has been conducted for this project. Totally 4 bridges are to be demolished. Now, this project has also received environmental clearance from the government, and it is a completely flawed environmental clearance. Why? SIA, that is State Environment Impact Assessment Authority, while giving environmental clearance, what they have stated, the committee has not gone into this aspect. There are 4 barrages, 4 huge barrages are to be constructed in this project. Project proponent informed that there are 4 barrages to be constructed at following places A, B, C, and D. The committee has not gone into this aspect. Proper appraisal from proper authority in this regard is solicited. So they have not conducted any study of these barrages, particularly as far as impact of these barrages is concerned. Barrages are dams. So the river will not be flowing because of these dams. These dams will stop the natural flow of the river. The water will be impounded, and it will be like 4 huge ponds of stagnant water, stagnant polluted raw sewage within the city because of these dams, because of these barrages. And SIA, without conducting any study of the impacts of these barrages, environmental clearance has been accorded to this project. And till date, in spite of SIA's instruction, no appraisal of these barrages has been done by PMC. And without that, they are going ahead with the actual implementation. Now, there are 2 types of built-up areas. One is FSI and the other one is non-FSI. FSI means where there is a roof, and non-FSI is open like roads or parking or like that. That is built area, but non-FSI. In the SIA meeting, corporation has informed that proposed built-up area, FSI and non-FSI, both are 0 square meters. So their corporation is not going to build anything as far as this project is concerned. Then what are we spending this 5,000 rupees? What are we doing with that 5,000 crore rupees? When we studied the cost estimates, the actual built area is around 22.5 lakh square meters. 22.5 lakh square meters. It is more than 556 acres. And to get the environmental clearance, corporation has said that only 0 square meters will be constructed in this project. Retaining walls, RCC slabs, there are innumerable structures proposed in this project. Existing structures. Corporation has said to get the AC that there are no existing structures. Actually, there are so many existing structures, including around 40 plus bridges are there. So many dargahs, samadhis, ghats. There are so many innumerable existing structures, but corporation has misled the SIA to get the environmental clearance. They also have said that there will be no demolition, but actually 4 bridges are to be demolished, and so many other even small building weirs and walls will be demolished in this project. Now, this is the latest issue. Corporation has started, PMC has started cutting trees. They actually has started. But what they have said in the DPR, which was presented before the citizens, they say that the design carefully retains existing trees. To accommodate the existing trees and the structures, the embankment design is modified as per requirement on site. Further, they have said that Pune city boasts of great wealth of trees. Pune river edge already consists of a large number of trees, which will be integrated with the proposed riverfront development. These existing as well as the new proposed vegetation will be incorporated into the embankment design. There are already a large number of trees along the river edge in Pune. It is very important to retain and enrich the green heritage of the city. To protect these existing as well as proposed trees in the riverfront development, tree guards will thus be used. And completely in contradiction with this, not only that, the environmental clearance also says that number of trees to be cut, not applicable. Number of trees to be planted, therefore not applicable. So environmental clearance issued to this project is clearly with an understanding that not a single tree will be cut for this project. But PMC has proposed or even started cutting down more than 7,000 fully grown native trees for only 3 out of 11 stretches. So imagine if 7,000 trees are being cut for 3 stretches, how many trees will be cut for the remaining 8 stretches? Is it acceptable? It was never communicated to the citizens earlier. As far as financing of this project is concerned, they are planning to monetize the riverbed. It is stated in the DPR that project financing availability of land within the floodlines. So they are trying to capitalize the land, the flood zones, the land which is inside floodline, government-owned lands, changes in restrictive zones, and value capture within the influence zone. That is okay. But land within the floodlines will be capitalized. So what are the impacts? Water Resources Department directions are not at all followed in this project. Environmental clearance is completely flawed and illegal. Massive illegal tree felling without clearance, monetization of river land and public resources, violation of all norms and Indian standards. River will continue to remain highly polluted. Traffic disruption leading to air pollution. Impact on climate change not at all considered. Steep rise in flood level, grave risk to the life, and irreversible destruction of biodiversity. These are going to be the impacts of this project on our city. Now, we all know that this project is based on Sabarmati Riverfront Development Project. How is it? This is Sabarmati. It is completely flooded. And for your information, Sabarmati after channelization in city is 285 meters. In Pune, they are proposing only 90 meters. When we have 6 dams on the upstream side. This is Sabarmati. See, what is this? This is completely covered with hyacinth. And this is the barrage they have built on the downstream, this at the location of Vasna. This barrage has been constructed, and because of this barrage, the water is completely stagnant and polluted also. You can see the hyacinth in Sabarmati River. This is the model we are following because the consultant is same. This is Sabarmati River. So It's not that we don't want our river to be rejuvenated. This is our stand. We want our rivers to be rejuvenated, but not by concretization and tree felling. We want it in ecological way. We do want beautiful rivers, but before that, we want clean rivers. And prior to that, we want safe rivers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarang sir. That is always a very eye-opening presentation, as many times as we hear it. Our next speaker is Satya Natarajan. He is the author of the One Page Tree Act. We will go to the questions for Sarang sir's section after all the speakers are done. You can keep dropping your questions in the chat box. Thank you. Over to you, Satya.
Are you able to see
Yes.
the screen?
Yes.
Any bars that are coming in between? No?
No. No.
Okay. So thanks for the introduction. I will continue with few disclaimers as to why I'm speaking about this. When the entire river is polluted, what does tree do in between? We saw the earlier movements in Pune, the Vetal Tekadi, before that Green Pune movement, and then the Chipko Andolan, and then what stands between the hills and the rivers are the river banks, in which there is a complete ecosystem of forest which has trees. I'll take you through all the technical details as an individual, as the responsibility of a citizen, responsibility of the commissioner, responsibility of the tree authority, and what is a vital role that it plays here, and particularly why we should be aware of the history so that we learn from it and just not rinse and repeat. So earlier, the Maharashtra Urban Trees Preservation and Protection Act 1975, earlier it assumed an avatar called as a Tree Felling Act. So it was all about dispensing permissions to cut trees for whatever reason it is. Then the theme around how it moved from a permission granting act to actually preservation, protection, and prevention. So I'm going to talk about that. So I would simply say people who learn from botany are blessed, because they will be able to understand the taxonomy, what tree it is, what plant is this, and so on and so forth. As a common man, what I know is just what had happened in the past, what did it affect, and what did we learn from it. Now, trees just don't provide oxygen alone or sequester carbon, they also provide lives. And me have multiple roles to play. As a disclaimer, I am the Swachh Survekshan Ambassador nominated by PMC for 2023. And I'm also the Captain Puneri Nayak of Indian Swachhata League, similar to IPL, which is Indian Premier League. But this one is for Swachhata League. And the third one is I'm also a Paryavaran Doot by Maji Vasundhara, and I'm still trying to take an appointment with the commissioner to have it returned back. With all the mixtures of responsibility and things hanging over me, I can also talk with confidence, not just about the current situation, but since the first day of riverfront development and establishments of STPs began, I was involved as the first citizen survey person in it. So whatever I'm talking is from my personal experience, and I'm collaborating with the news articles to give you something that you can take away. So my journey, actually the survey ended for the riverfront survey. At that point in time, it was called riverfront survey, because they wanted to know what is people's perception about having good roads, having an amicable space where multicultural, multi-people can come in together and participate. They wanted to get people to the river bank, have a cycling track, blah, 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 and so on. So most of the surveys were conducted within the 500 meters for this specific survey, and it ended in 2016. At that time, only talk of 2 STPs as a role model were discussed. Indeed, my property were beyond that 500 meters where we were supposed to take the survey. And many people have many versions in that. Why I'm trying to talk about this is that typically 10 years before, what was the mindset of people? What were all they tricked into? How did they believe? How did they fought with each other? And finally, where it has led up. So we have a full decade of experience of how we have gone through personally ourselves. That's the history, so that it doesn't repeat again. And slow and steadily, different projects came together. One was again on the Kalyani Nagar Yerwada stretch, the Salim Ali Bird Sanctuary became the spot for the metro. And then I again did a citizen survey going through. They indicated here 100 meters, sir, that 100 meters, sir. And I did a rough calculation of 100 trees to be axed. At that point in time, the commissioner, including, said like transplantation works, and they got this big trees transplanted. Then we said it didn't grow. They said like it at least takes 2 years for it to grow. And then after 4 years, still they are just trees of barks lying over there. At that time, it was still riverfront development. JICA was a proponent, loan provider. And then it went on from being there. And that point in time, the objectives, like what Sarangji had spoken, at that point in time, it was never about flood control. It was about pollution abatement. Please watch the words. I'm not blaming anybody here, either from the administration, politics, people, or whatever it is. The message at that point in time to a common citizen is that the rivers are bad, and then we need to abate the pollution that is arising from it. At that point in time, you will hear this being said. You'll have great rivers through which you can take a cycle on a cycle track, enjoy with your friends on a morning. All we have heard it. And at that point in time, we never had to look for an expertise outside, because 2014, we were given the best sewage treatment plan in Pune by dignitaries. This is from the administration side of it. Okay, as Sarangji said, there were many credentials to how they projected what is the waste or the sewage that comes out, how much will be treated, blah, blah. Time there were only 55 lakhs to get the acquired forest land. I will temporarily stop my video because it's not going good in terms of internet connection. Are you guys still able to see the presentation?
Yes, Satya.
Okay. So at that time, the only bottleneck out of the 11 STPs were 2 STPs, one at Aum, the other one at Karadi. And they were trying to kind of minimize the impact on citizens by acquiring the forest land. At that time, it was 55 lakhs. Okay. And it went on. I think now recently they have acquired it, but that's all the split between how much crores have to be spent and how much will come from the center, how much PMC has to self-sponsor, and so on. And if you see put together, even an approximate figure, let's say 1,000 crores, right? See the cost escalation between then and now. Only one demarcation I would like to bring in clarity, as again Sarangji said, is that this was setting up STPs, acquiring lands, and then, doing the pollution abatement. Now, if you see, it is pegged at 4,727 crores. I'm not pulling it out of thin air. It's all in the news. So 1,000 to 4,700 crores. 3,700 crores is taxpayers' money. For what they are going to use it? Beautification by way of promenades? Or is it tree transplantation? Or is it STP building? Or is it flood control by pouring concrete wall? That's for you to judge as a common man or a common woman. Now, So now, what does the law of the land says? Law of land in retrospective before 10 years and now, it says the law of land is no more there. It is outside the riverbank. So why I am saying this is that without much discussion in 2021 over the objections raised by irrigation department, okay, PMC knowingly went ahead not removing the encroachments on the blue line and the red line, but they themselves went in to construct something. No law of the land. With what courage they went, I do not know as a common man. If I have to put a shed there, you know what will happen. Okay. And the riverfront project will require 768 hectares, wherein gardens, jogging tracks, and recreationals will be built at that point in time through a special purpose vehicle. And as again, the environment clearances were given saying that no trees will be cut. It's all in glaring public media. They have said, and today they said that only 3,000 will be cut on these two stretches. Now, there are problems everywhere. World is facing a problem in terms of climate change, drought, weather, industrial impacts, and the floods. I have been a part of 7 flood relief operations, right from Chiplun, Ratnagiri, Pune, and so on. And people were always used to think, hey, it's flood somewhere, it's heat waves somewhere. Today, moving from 40 degrees to 44 degrees within inside Pune, even for one day, is harsh. But the weather reports, IMD says there have been 4 such instances, which means every 15 days, it's happening some or the other. Why I'm relating to the tree and why to the riverfront project is that once you concrete, it's the heat island effect that comes in, which means it doesn't have any other scope to escape. It affects you. So as a common person, unless we are, managing the people expectations, the economic well-being and the environment well-being, any project is not going to sustain. It might have some short-term solutions, but then it will reappear, right? Fixing one bucket, leaky bucket, the other one comes up. So what does individual citizens do? There's a problem at hand, can't stop people migrating from one cities to the other cities. Basically, definitely there are more waste that's going to generate it, either in the form of liquid waste, solid waste, and so on. Okay. And it is between, a methaneous gas emission from a landfill trying to fight with the polluted river methaneous emissions. And then people will talk about which one is better, which one is bad, without knowing who created it. So what we can do is that we can look at our lifestyles or citizens' participation in defining the agendas and movements like this, and then volunteering your energy towards the benefit of society is like a philosophical talk, but there is an element to it. Why? Spread awareness or complain to the necessary authority when a tree is cut or when a river is polluted, or participate in your societies, bring in us to give presentations which will reflect the true picture of it. Now, while we are proud that Pune is the first carbon footprint study has been done here, and we are 1/10 of the major polluters across the world in terms of their emissions, but it's not something good. While if you see the bridge, this is the bridge where my house is nearby, and I have seen from 2003, 4 times the bottom of the bridge used to get filled with water. This is the place from where I see the river. Now, there is a good part and there is a not so good part. On the left-hand side, you see is towards the Sangam, where you see a lineup of trees, beautiful, you can walk in its shade, everything is great. But on the other side of it, you see almost like about 20-25% of the river is encroached. The ones that you see are on the blue line, which means it is the flood line. So you have step 1, which is on the right-hand side, the road towards the step 2 promenade, and then there is a step 3. So what more PMC is going to create more than whatever already exists by flattening out things. And we all know the value of trees Supreme Court have given the judgments, and it has to be made as a part of the project estimates while counting on the cost that is also there. So now let's talk about everybody wants to work to bring food to their table. So necessarily transportation, going to job, having good house, everything is a prime requisite. And then you can live with it. Second, you need to have water to drink. Probably you can be without water, let's say for a day, but not more, right? Close your nose for 2 minutes and say if you can live. If you have succeeded, yes, you will get to tell stories how difficult it was and all the other logic vanishes off. So if you see in the world, how many trees do you really need per person based on the oxygen consumptions and so on, is that fully grown 7 to 8 trees is required, right? That is what we call as citizens to tree ratio. In other parts of the world, it's great. Not necessarily that they are in the urban area, but at least law of averages speaks there. Now coming to Pune, it is hardly 1:1.128. Please remember this. Why? Because I'm going to come and retouch at the end. What to plant? This completely given in the Maharashtra Urban Areas Protection and Preservation Act of 1975. It says what you need to plant, where you need to plant, and all the list of native trees are published on the PMC website. It is not that knowledge is not known. Everybody knows where to plant. As a common man, where to plant. There are different gardens, open spaces, along the road, along the banks of the river, water bodies, everything has been given. And it is more than 15 years I'm following up with PMC, or rather actively 10 years. They aren't able to make every 10 meters a tree as per the schedule 1. But to demolish the 3 sectors that we are talking about has happened within 3 months in no time. It's not the efficiency of PMC that we question. Where is the efficiency on implementation of the act? Then what is the citizen's responsibility? Like I want to cut a tree in my place, in my home, I need to ask a permission, deposit 10,000 rupees, and then find a place to plant 1:3, right? And if I don't do it, I get a 5,000 rupees fine, 1 week to 1 year imprisonment if it is illegal, and I can't even nail a tree or deface a tree that invites 5,000 rupees fine. I'm not saying that I want to do it, but there are clauses. If you do it, you get punished. And then the classic Supreme Court's, results, which says deconcretization of 1.25 by 1.25 meter. Why I'm going into this detail while speaking about a riverside is that you kill a tree on the road, you don't plant enough. Whatever is the riparian zone of forest on the river banks that is given, you cut to once again plant. What is this mindlessness? The act is there. You just need to act. Next, what is the responsibility for a tree authority chairman or tree officers who are the ward officers of every ward? Is that whenever he plans to cut a tree, it is not like there is a rule for citizen, there is a different rule for commissioners. No, he or she also has to take the permission and then publish the thing in the docket. Here, all the dockets were published, but only thing is that we found discrepancy between what is presented in the docket versus what we actually see on the ground. And once the permission is given, they cannot cut it for 15 days. They will wait for objections from the citizens if there are any. If they cut within that, it is illegal. And from the date of permission to the time of cutting, they should not take more than 90 days. If it is so, they cannot accumulate permissions like this and cut after 2 years. They have to re-invoke the same procedure again. And for visibility, they just cannot say, I published it. Not everybody is going through the website. So it has to be published in a leading newspaper where subscription is high. All these are there. Okay. So it can't be that, you can escape a public consultation. And after hard work of, mobilizing people and over 10 years advocating this Tree Act, people now know that they have a voice and that had to be heard. is by itself took a long time, but nowadays people are really enthusiastic about participating, that there is a law to protect them. And with the recent amendments, anything that is going over 200 trees of 5 years or old, it is just not some local guy who can take a credential and then say, hey, I have done it because I have a permission to do it. It has to be authenticated and approved by the state authority. So indeed, for the very first time, we have been called in a GB hall, general body hall, for accommodating citizens so that those are captured before sending it to the state authority. Earlier also there have been, but the seriousness with which PMC is doing is purely because of participating citizens, and they know the law of the land, that it does have to be protected. Now, this is a nutshell which is available to everybody. Now I'm going to quickly roll over and then talk about what are all the dimensions or the mindset that you had to go through if you had to start 10 years before, which is the history that you will learn right now. Is that in 2013, the PMC said for the tree plantation drive, it has hit a space crunch hurdle, which means there is no area that they could plant a tree. And then in 2013 to 19, the government claimed that the Gram Panchayats, which were under the Pune's jurisdiction, 1.7 crore trees have been planted, which is almost like 46 lakhs, 1.7 crore divided by 46 lakhs people, or say trees, I would say, they had planted. And then there was no evidence that 87% of them even can be found on the ground. So everybody went mad, trying saying, hey, great, we were participating, that's good. To only find out 87 is not documented. There is no authenticity, even if it has been planted. Moving over to 2019, no more land left to plant trees that was specific to Pune while the 33 crore drive was happening, right? And they somehow completed it, saying that they don't have any left land bank to plant them in a contiguous manner because administration is very difficult. So that is what I say, is that putting horse in front of the cart. They promise something and get to start to work without knowing where it will go. Now, next deception is the ray of hope. 2019 to 2022, all of a sudden, from where we do not know. I do not know if Pune increased 10 times fold or they acquired all the villages. All of a sudden, we expanded 5.63 square kilometers in the last 2 years of just forest. Even if this were to be true, the chief conservator of forests lauded the citizens of Pune, saying that a major reason for the increase of the open forest, which is technically maybe correct because it's an open forest where the canopy is greater than 40% cover. Citizens are taking initiative to plant on their own. Wow, it was like a pat on the back for ourselves. We felt good that something good is happening. Keep this pat just for another 5 or 6 more slides. I'll come back to it, right? This was even authenticated by Bhupendra Yadav in the ISFR. So it's not just somebody local talking and patting us. It's everybody knows that we are doing a good job. I will come back to the final one. And people might be curious why Satya is talking only about 2019 and after and so on and so forth. But no, few people, many people were there concerned about the trees, but few people came on the ground saying that whether they are able to make a difference or not, they didn't know. 2017, they stayed near the trees, slept near the tree, and then to prevent some tree cutting from being happening on the Aund road. 9 trees were cut on the morning. We found that they illegally cut, and we took a procession, gave it to PMC commissioner, and for 15 days until the tree committee was formed, the order said like, for next until the committee is formed, no tree felling of Ward and Pimple will happen ever in Pune. If those few people who came on the ground thought that it's too huge to challenge the authority, think and rethink. Next, what are all the other deceptions that goes through and why it is important for the riverfront development is that majority of the cases, tree felling in the code failed to be proven. Only 30% even came to the hearing stage. Now, if we look at this Pune revival movement, at the first stroke, we were invited to the GB Hall to raise exceptions. That itself is a great motivator for people to join in here. Next. Then the other deception is transplantation, more plantation, more oxygen. You will see funny things like biodiversity parks comes at the Vetal Tekadi. You will see like 59 trees to be cut to create an oxygen park. And somebody individually saying that mice entered my house for the overgrown tree, so we have to cut it. So on. And probably some other few challenges which are sensitive also is like 4 fully grown trees were cut inside the temple premises, saying that migratory bats and birds are doing droppings. Whatever, there are 1,000 reasons to cut a tree. What does the Tree Act says? There is a procedure, please follow. That's all the Tree Act says. Tree Act doesn't say you shouldn't cut a tree, but you should preserve and protect before you make that choice. And then transplanting, I'm not going to talk about what I think about this subject because I'm no expert, but the transport minister said that he holds the responsibility of national highway. There was cess collected for it. All the roadways will be made green. And then he said, he cannot show me a single road where good plantation is there, where good species are there. Totally negligent. This is by the minister by himself over here. They launch different apps. They take confidence. They say something works, something doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. And we have to wait and watch. Next. What does the Pune voices say in terms of the corporations as well as the citizens? Like the recent objection raising, our famous Gurdas sir had said that there is no involvement of a botanist or an absence of a botanist during the hearing. Who are we talking? Are we talking to the wall or some really people who knows the subject? 46 lakhs in the trees. And the good message at that time was put in by the corporation to deceive. I'm not questioning about the intention, but that is how it looked to me, being 10 years in this. They said like, hey, Punekars, come on, you're going to overtake Bangalore for the number of trees that are planted. And now the experts, the same corporation says there will be experts from an organization studying botany in Bangalore who will come and do a technical study of what type of trees should be planted along the river when the destruction happens in riverfront development. See this dichotomy. I'm not again questioning the intentions, but when they want, they will praise you. They will want you to be in a good mood. But when it actually comes to taking inputs, they don't listen to the voice of Punekars. Now, technically, they have improved also because they know people are objecting to it. Citizens are more advocate of Tree Act and they know what to do. They have gone through the pain of cutting a tree themselves. They know what the law says. Now there is a different tariqa, different way. The one on the right-hand side on the top you see is the canopy of the tree. And the bottom what you see is not a shrub. That is also a tree that is caught in between the second promenade and the third promenade which naturally exists. So what you see as a bush here is nothing but a tree. Usually the Tree Act says that whenever a tree is going to be felled or marked for something, it has to be at a visible portion, which means at the 6 feet or 7 feet girth level, you need to put that thing. This tree, when we went in, was inside the floor, which means below it was another 7 feet. And we have so many cases of photos where they are buried. It is technically not cutting of trees, but burial of trees that has happened. Tomorrow, when the roads are made on top of it, you will not know the tree has died inside. And then earlier, people were only talking about trees. Now, PMC has started taking permissions for shrubs also. Shrubs were never in question earlier. Forget about trees. Shrubs were never in question. Now they're explicitly mentioning to the media that we are going to take permissions for shrubs also. Why is it? Because the Tree Act 1975 says whether it is a tree whether it is a sapling, whether it is a shrub, any woody plant is a tree, a technical definition. So they just can't say it is yet another bamboo, yet another grass, and they can cut it off. No, that's the hard work for people who have joined this movement and being there to do that difference. Now, technically speaking, if you see, for a common man like me, if I have somebody has to, explain pakshi hai, birds hai, insects hai, and so on and so forth, whatever I see is a river, besides which some patthar is there, or stones, or big ones, and then there is a road connecting. That is all I see. I see probably there is an aquatic life, and there is some grazing happening, there are some shades, and so on. That is what we see. Nowadays, we talk about Miyawaki and other technologies where land is sparse. We have enough land, we have enough trees, but we are still cutting, right? So why I'm saying this specifically is that we took a walk. And if you see, today 1:7 ratio is needed. We have only 1:1.28. If you don't disturb the riparian system and administer it properly, you can increase the number of trees count thrice, 3 folds. You don't have to invest any money. Leave it alone and then add to the fauna and flora of the riparian zone. Don't distract it. Have you ever seen garbage coming when there is a rain? Yes, you will see everything. But have you ever seen a tree log coming out? That's the strongness of the riparian zone, that it protects from flood naturally, that you don't have to spend another 3,700 crores. And for all the land that they're going to acquire, which is 556 acres, even per acre, as per the dense vegetation concept, if you have to do, you can fulfill 1.5 times of the tree requirement in the banks. That's the power of the river bank as seen by a common man if he knows a basic math. Now, as I showed you, this is the tree has been submerged. It is almost 3/4 of it is filled. The number 89, actually it is 289 or 389, something of sorts. These are all buried, and nearby you see the concrete that is laid at the 20% mark of the river. So what we are saying is that while your primary aim is to clean the river, why cut the river? It doesn't look in any logic to me, at least as a common man or a woman. Now, golden question. 23 crores of trees have been planted. 87 is not documented. Citizens are great, they increase the forest cover. We took permission. Individuals cannot fault. The governments, after all this magic of all this data cook up, the citizens to tree ratio is still 1:1.28. It became at one point in time 1:1.13, just because of the fact that 11 more villages were included, and with those villages it was brought in. So a 10-year time frame looking at, people who learn botany are blessed. People who didn't learn from history of what happened in the past is going to get into the deception mode. Few might be patting on their backs for all the good work that they pulled out, and many of them would be frustrated that still the tree count hasn't increased. While the primary objective of riverfront development started with pollution abatement is still hanging in there somewhere. With this, I would also like to say, travel back 50 years later from here, all the trees that have grown fully is going to be again covered by the 1975 Act, that it gets a heritage status. Go back 50 years back, plant a tree, let it grow for 50 years. Somebody will come and say, cut the tree under the name of development. Citizens remain authorities of 50-year clause. Authority gives anyway a reason, like how they don't mind about the blue line anymore. They would say, go with hell to the Tree Act. Get off the Tree Act. Citizens feel betrayed, feel they spent half of their life wasting their time and effort for no reason. Let that moment be now that we can take action. Let's not wait for 50 years to understand this. Again, history teaches us a lot of things. So be aware. So when it is time, upcoming June, rains are going to come. We all plan together as citizens, as Punekar. We march together like what we did in Betal Tekadi. We acted together with the Chipko Andolan movement, and we protect together the trees, which are not just providers of oxygen, sequesters of carbon, but it gives you the life form as much as the river. Now, we talked about 50 years heritage structure of trees. Many of them in the current riverfront development belt, it is there. But I would like to remind, if we are taking so much serious about the trees that has to be preserved as heritage, let me remind everyone who might not know that the Muta River, the Mula Mutta River, existed before Ganges came in. Millions of years. If Sahyadris were declared as heritage, or UNESCO recognized Sahyadris as a world's heritage or biodiversity spot, Mula Mutta River has to be defined as a heritage river. And once it becomes a heritage river, we don't want anybody to touch our heritage, and we will act together and we'll protect together. But at the same time, this coming from me is quite, challenging for myself and for people to hear. When I say I'm okay to lose a complete forest for volunteers or citizens, because when destruction has to repeat, as in history, because of we didn't come together, it is those volunteers who will help me rebuild the planet and the forest too. So nothing works like citizens coming together, participate in large numbers, call for action, and show explicitly to the administration and the politicians that trees, clean air in terms of trees, clean river, and then clean land is all our priority list number one. Thanks again for giving me the time.
Thank you so much, Satya, for the incredible details that you have just shared. Our next speaker now is Mukund Nagankar, who has been spearheading the tree census and the river walks, the nature walks that we have done at the RFD site at Bankartan. Mukund sir is a renewable energy expert, and he is also a climate change educator, and he is a forest restoration enthusiast. Without any further ado, Mukund sir, over to you for your presentation.
Good evening, everybody. All of you must have realized how fraudulent and how wrong this riverfront development project is. I'll try to say what I have to say within the next 5 or 10 minutes, though my presentation was going to be longer, but I'm sure dinner is waiting for all of you. So let me make a try to make it in 5 minutes. The riverfront development project is going to span 44 kilometers, 10.8 kilometers of Mutha, 18 kilometers of Mula, and 10 kilometers of Mula Mutha. These have been broken into stretches, starting from stretch 1 here from Chinchwad to stretch 5 at Sangam, which is the confluence. आणि इथनं वारज्यापासनं संगम पर्यंत हे 3 स्ट्रेचेस 6, 7 आणि 8 5 मुळावरती 6, 7, 8 मुठ्यावरती आणि 9, 10, 11 9, 10, 11 ऑन मुळा मुठा. And it is laughing, I feel like laughing that we started, this is the outflow, and we started restricting the river banks from the outflow. So I'm not sure what is going to happen in the monsoon this year if we're going to reduce. However, when you look at the stretch number 9, there is a very historic island, and it is a heritage island which is called Naik Bet. And I'm going to talk for 2 minutes on that island. When I came to Pune in 1975, I was told Pune tethe kai une. Today, I feel like saying Pune tethe unech une. I'm going to tell you a story in a very short time of a degraded heritage wonderland. This is the Naik Bet as shown in Google Maps. Mula Mutha River divided itself into 2 streams, one going along the right bank and one going along the left bank. And this Naik Island, actually there were 2 islands, one small island and a small rivulet in between and the large island. I had the fortune of visiting this island some 42 years ago. And I tell you, it was an amazing experience when I was in college to spend a full day on this beautiful island. That was our heritage. We talk of our cultural heritage, we talk of our educational heritage, we talk of our intellectual heritage, but we never talk of our natural or ecological heritage. It is an irony that in spite of the fight put up by Sarang and Vandana, this stretch of water is being filled with this thing, and even Google has crossed over this Mula Mutha River. So this island is soon going to be part of land. When I visited there was a person called Ganpat Rao Naik who owned this island.
I think we've lost connection with Mukund sir right now. Mukund sir,
Sorry?
we lost connection with you for a bit over there. I'm going to
Okay.
stop your video so that we can continue hearing you and seeing the presentation. You can go ahead. We can hear you now.
Okay. So these are the 2 islands that I remember, and Ganpat Rao Naik was here, a white-haired man of 65. He looked after all the trees, and he had planted a lot of coconut trees, and he was proud to tell us youngsters, adolescent youngsters, that his coconut trees had the maximum yield of in the whole world. His trees bore 1400 to 1500 coconuts per year, and the best in Malaysia was 1200. He used to talk to each tree, ask them what is going on. All these trees, and there were 5 or 10 cows that he had raised on this island, and he would only use natural manure compost made from cow dung and the leaves that fell down. That heritage we are going to lose. I'm going to throw some images out. They speak for themselves. This is the Naik Bet. from the right bank. This is the channel that existed in between. This is the Nike Bait from the left bank. And this is the Nike Bait today. When I visited just 15 or 20 days ago for the first time, after 42 years, when I visited first time in 1973, we had to use a torchlight to move around. The foliage was so dense. The sunlight was not reaching ground. There are many more trees. Today, all these trees are numbered. That means they are going to be chopped. For the last 20 years, nobody has looked at it. Nobody has taken care of the trees, and they are rotting away. The DP shows, these are the, what you see in red are the bridges shown in the DP. That means they are going to build two bridges, one here and one here, destroying the Nike Bait completely. And we cannot let that happen. Satya talked about the riparian zone. What the riparian zone does is it protects water erosion. It has amphibian plants. It has larger trees. It absorbs a lot of water. It provides habitat to many insects, birds, and small mammals. It protects land from water erosion. And you would see that typically the river should have at least twice the width as the riparian zone. Unfortunately, what is going to happen is here. This is from the Bun Garden Bridge to Sadal Baba Dargah. They have made a model stretch of 300 meters. This patch had 95 riparian trees. These have gone. We have encroached into the river by 50 meters, as Sarang was saying, 150 feet. What would happen if we, and these trees, these 95 trees are numbered, but when we went on ground, we could not find a single one of them. So who should go to jail? I think the municipal commissioner should go to jail for having done this without permission. A similar thing is going to happen on the other bank. See the width of the river has how much it will be reduced. You can see a rich riparian woodland here. That is also going to go just to build the lower promenade, the upper promenade, and the continuous public realm. It is just ridiculous. We cannot let it happen. Sarang talked about effect of climate change. I'm also going to talk about climate change and the effect of this project. It's always a two-way process. Effect of a project on climate change and effect of climate change on the project. So Sarang talked about effect of climate change on the project and talking about effect of project on climate change. This project has 2.2 million square meters of construction, which will mean 2 million tons of additional emissions, which is 8% of Pune's annual emissions. Just to absorb this, we would require 8.7 crore trees, 87 million trees, just doing this. Why are we doing this? Why are Pune's river polluted? The main reason is the sewage outflow. Only 30% of the outflow to the river. I'll quickly run through my presentation. In 2015, it said that is going to be a smart city. So management achieving river ecosystem transformation. The only transformation we saw was that the biodiversity of fish reduced from 60 in 1960 to 1 today. Smart City project also said that 100% sewage will be treated. Nothing happened. We said we are committed to make Pune city a clean and healthy city. Nothing happened. This is what you see in Pune rivers. Methane bubbling up to the bottom of rotting matter. Sarang has covered all these numbers, so I will not cover them again. This is what's supposed to have happened in JICA. What you see here is the existing STPs in green. The red are the new STPs in JICA, and the red and green are the ones where the capacity enhancement should have taken place. I added all these together, and all these figures are from PMC's website. I added all these together, and the grand total, we treat only 428 MLD of sewage. JICA was to add another 408. That would have meant 856. Sarang has shown you a calculation that we require a capacity of 1634. So we have a shortfall of 770, almost 800 MLD shortfall after completing JICA, which is 400. So if you put these two together, the capacity that Pune city should have is 1200 MLD extra, and that should be our priority, and nothing has been done on this. In the RFD, you will see in the left corner here, this purple, they have shown two plants, proposed STPs under riverfront development, each having 30 MLD capacity. So I don't know whether to laugh or whether to cry. Radawa ki hasawa? Okay, so let me come to the last part, an important part. What should we do? Make all efforts to force PMC to scrap RFD. This is going to damage Pune irreversibly. This is going to damage the riverine biodiversity irreversibly. This project is going to be killing our rivers. So we must put a halt to it immediately. Let's come on the road. We must demand 100% sewage should be treated before releasing into river. The 11 new STPs to be built, operational and operationalized as soon as possible. Installing of all the STPs, river cross section should not be altered. No trees should be cut. And if any tree is cut, let us put people behind, like the commissioner behind bar. Establish Naik Bet as the biodiversity heritage park. And it is unfortunate that we have such lush green places in Pune. So let us, we would like to have river rejuvenation, but it should be ecologically prudent, sustainable. It should have the least carbon footprint and local expertise to be used to ensure that we don't keep pouring. So join our movement of telling people around you that I have fasted today. It is a good way of telling the officials that you have fasted for the river. Join nature walks. I was so amazed when I walked on the right bank from the Yaroda Bridge up to Boat Club, it was such a wonderful talk. It's such a wonderful walk. It was like walking into an arboretum. It was a nice Karanj forest on the right bank, and that is going to be completely wiped out. Arrange for presentations, and I would also like to put at the end our social media handles, and I would like to say that using the Impact Guru link, please contribute whatever you can. I would also like to emphasize, come and share your protest with us on the road and bring the authorities to stop this project completely. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mukund sir. We'll be taking questions now. Shubha is going to help us conduct that section.
I would like to answer two questions which were raised last time. And somebody said that people are saying that all of you are protesting because you are flush with foreign funds. So I would like to clarify that not a single penny of foreign fund is involved here. That was a question that was raised last time's presentation. I would like to answer that. This is citizens' contributions, citizens' efforts. Citizens are coming together to ensure that we don't do the stupidity what PMC has planned, and we hold them to law. Shubha, you can go on.
Thank you all. I think it was a really wonderful presentation, all three of them. Sarang sir, there was just one question on any updates on the NGT or if there's any case that we have filed. So I just would want you to update on what has been happening till now on the legal side.
Yeah, can you hear me, Shubha?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, as I have already told, the environmental clearance given to this project was absolutely flawed and illegal on multiple grounds. We filed a case before NGT long back, and that case was decided in 2022 November, as I remember. In that case, NGT directed that there are certainly some flaws in the EC. They did not set it aside as we had prayed, but they asked PMC to amend the environmental clearance. Okay, they amend the environmental clearance. And till then, PMC should not start any construction, was NGT's directions. Unfortunately, PMC did not stop the construction of this project even for a single minute. See the arrogance, confidence of PMC even in disobeying court orders. So we again approached NGT, and NGT then took a turn of 180 degrees, and they said that okay, fine, though we had said we had directed to stop the construction, let the construction go ahead because public exchequer is involved in that. So let them continue with the construction, but they cannot issue a new work order till they amend the environmental clearance. That is the present situation as far as NGT is concerned. Then we challenged this in Supreme Court also, and Supreme Court unfortunately did not even admit the case, but they asked us, they have directed us to file a new case in case if we find any violation of NGT order or any direction given in the condition given in the environmental clearance. See, basically, personally speaking, the courts are not working impartially. A project, the DPR, when the DPR of the project itself says that the flood levels are going to rise by 5 feet in a city like Pune, how the court allows a construction, implementation of such a project, even for a minute. That is the tragedy. So that is the present situation. As far as Supreme Court directions are concerned, we are taking some steps in that, and it will come in light in due course of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarang sir. You can unmute yourself, and if you have any questions, you can just raise your hand and then we can take the questions.
Sir, he has a question.
Yes, Deepak. Yeah. Go ahead, Deepak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Deepak.
Yeah, so I would like to thank all the presenters today. It was really eye-opening for me. And what I got is that it was kind of a call to action. So I just want to know which colleges have we targeted with these kind of presentations? Is there something which we can go to the colleges and really do these presentations there and show them what's happening to get the young people out somewhere as a protest, exactly what was done for Vetal Tekdi?
Yeah. Mukundji, do you want to take this?
We have addressed and we have formed a group where we are going to go to different colleges. 5-6 colleges have been covered. It is shameful to say that we have spoiled the world and ask younger people to start cleaning it. What should happen is that the elder should say that I want to leave a beautiful planet for the next generation. This planet is given to us to keep it in safe custody for the next generation. So I would say that urgent action we should take, who are propagators of all this. If we have to stop destruction of the Naik Brigade, one person created that heaven. We are going to this, and it is good to see that many young people are coming into this, and we will span those colleges, but the responsibility, the onus is on us, the senior citizens, the middle-aged people, the professionals, to shake up the government machinery.
Thank you, Mukundi. Deepak, we have already reached out to a lot of colleges, but if you are in touch of any colleges and would like to contribute, you are more than welcome to please join the group and help us build this whole network. Yes, Satya, you wanted to say something?
So my presentation is up for anybody who wishes to, keep up the essence of the presentation and give it to their network of schools and colleges. Feel free to use it. Everything is backed by data which is on the public website. So please go ahead, that is available for you. But if you can bring in colleges and schools and give us an opportunity of about an hour or an hour and a half, all the speakers who have been doing it before today would come through on a suitable time.
Absolutely. Yes, Anirudh.
I have a small question. If you could just guide us, people like me, like what we can do for this particular cause, it will be really helpful. So then we can go ahead and do it. Right now, what happens is I'm a little confused as to what I can do or what could be my contribution for the particular cause. But if somebody guides me, yes, I will definitely do it.
Aniruddha,
Yes.
just start talking about it in your society, in your professional institutions, to any students that you are there. Make them aware of the fraudulent nature of this project, the destruction that is upon us.
Mm-hmm.
Write to government officials, send emails, and also try to raise awareness about this madness. All three presentations will be available on the website, so you can use them to collect information. We have to ensure and ask every corporator to stop this project.
That means I can start from my office itself. It's something like that.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And join us. We are on the streets. We are at on the riparian zones of the rivers. And it
Okay.
is a sad thing that such beauty is going to be banished from Pune city.
No, we will do our best. I can assure you from my side.
Good.
And Anirudh, we have these walks regularly being done now, almost twice in a week. So please join our social handles first so that you'll be able, there's a WhatsApp group. You can join so you can get the updates of what we are doing on a regular basis. There's also a chain fasting activity that we have been doing for over a year. So there
Yeah.
are different individuals. Yeah, so you can contribute through that. And we will soon be coming up. We'll at least have an event every month. So there is something or the other happening. So you're most welcome to join us. And the first step would be to join our WhatsApp group so you know what's happening. Yes,
you.
Raj. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks all for the presentation. Yes, we need to create awareness to larger society. By the time we'll create the awareness, I think the majority of the work would be done by the PMC. The Chipko Andolan was a great thing that we shake up the government, but I think it's not enough. So what is the next action plan which can really make them to think seriously and make them stop? Means something very much little aggressive to stop their work instantly. Means are we thinking on that line? Means the creating awareness in all is good, means it will take time, but right they are destroying every day. There's some other damage they are doing. So what we can do?
Yes, Sarang sir, you want to take that?
Yeah, see, basically my suggestion is that you can hear me, no, Shubha? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yes, you're audible.
Yes.
First of all, I request all of you to know what is happening to our rivers. At least understand the basic things. Secondly, spread the word about the riverfront development project, how destructive it is. Third, demand 100% sewage treatment. We must demand that the rivers should be cleaned first. That should be the highest priority. Fourth is organize our presentations in your groups, maybe your colleges or your neighborhood or friend circle. We will come to your place and we will present this project impacts of this project before you. Join us for processions and river walks. Like as Shubha said, we are twice a week we are organizing river walks and processions like Chipko Andolan, etc. Talk to your political representatives, your MLAs or MPs or corporators. Talk to them, because they are the people who have sanctioned this project. And also what is important, as Mukund sir said, fund the movement. There is not a single penny of foreign currency. We are doing whatever we can through public contribution, which is very important for legal also, for social work also. We need funds. And so please fund the movement. Do whatever possible for you out of all these things. Thank you.
So, Rajkumar, there are regular river walks that Jeevit Nadi has been organizing since a lot of years, which actually just talks to you about the river ecosystem. So you are most welcome to join those walks also. We have a river walk and a nature walk, which helps you understand this whole concept of the river ecosystem. Over and above that, we have the walks at the project site where exactly this destruction is happening. So I request everyone to come and participate in these walks to understand the situation better. And we require all your suggestions. So there is no answer. It is a citizen movement. We are all just come together. We need money for this to happen. So there is, I've just put out the donation link. So we need money to make this a whole campaign. Okay, we don't have the agenda is just to ensure that our rivers are clean. So each one of you, if you have an idea, please join the group and make it happen. So we want people who make these things happen and not just talk about it. So each one of you, and all these sessions are just to let the general public know of what all is going wrong, and you're just most welcome. Yeah, Deepak, you had another question.
Yeah, just now someone mentioned that can we just sit around the PMC and make it happen. So I also agree with that person. We need to just sit in front of the PMC. Don't let anyone to come out or don't let anyone to go in, and just sit on their head and just scrap the project. Something
Sure,
like
please
that.
join the WhatsApp group. We'll plan this for probably next week and let's see how it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, we should. Yes.
Yes, Deepak.
Just a very quick question from my side. Someone said that we should involve the political, like the cooperators and stuff like this. Do we know anyone who are already on our side, or is there any list like whom we have contacted? Because I can try from my end at least.
Yeah.
There are a
Sarang, sir?
lot many. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are many corporators, MLAs and MPs are on our side actually. To be frank enough, to be honest, only BJP corporators are pro this project. All other corporators and MLAs are against this project. Even they had joined the Chipko Andolan also. Whether it is Manase, NCP, Congress, they are complete, or Shiv Sena, they are completely on our side. So that is the present situation as far as the political dynamics are concerned.
And
Yes,
Vasant
Pushkar.
Moriji also.
Yeah.
There was Vasant Moriji also who joined from Nirman Sena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pushkar, yeah, go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, hello everyone. As has been suggested, first of all, it's very important that all of us try and visit the river. Please go and see for yourself how many trees exist. Please go and see for yourself how many sewers are pouring sewage into the river, so that you will understand firsthand what the situation of our rivers is, what we have turned them into, so that you yourself will further understand as to why so many citizens from Pune, even from outside Pune, are demanding that PMC first, plans to curb all the sewage, all the industrial effluents, all the garbage, etc., that is coming into our rivers. You will find firsthand the amount of encroachments that are plaguing our rivers. So the first thing you need to do is to come on ground, perhaps in a day or two, whenever possible, visit your nearest stretch. You'll come to know. You may have already seen it, while traveling around the city, but do, carve out 30 minutes of out of your day, out of your week, and please do go and visit the rivers first. Only then will you understand as to what the situation is and why all of these things are being suggested by people like Sarang, people from Ecological Society, from Jivit Nadi. Ms. Karve has had some suggestions along with Oikos and others. So it's very important that we know what we are talking about. Only then, will there be some meaning as to us participating in all of this. Then the DPR of this project is readily available with us. If you want, please go through it. A non-technical person like me, an average Joe like me, was not able to make sense of the engineering or the architectural stuff. But if you just keep on scrolling down, you'll find many interesting things as to the project finance section. If you go on to that, then you will find out why this entire project is taking place in the first place. As Sarang had mentioned in his PPT also, there are manipulations in the floodlines. There are building permissions already being given out by PMC in the floodlines. So all of this project is essentially the last bit of the heist that remains. Okay, this is the riverfront project, the Pune riverfront development project is the last bit of the heist remaining, and that is why PMC and everyone who you know who wants this project is so adamant about bulldozing this through, because they want to make land parcels inside the restrictive and the prohibitive zones available for construction. That is it. That is the whole crux of this project. So please go and visit the rivers first. There's all of these presentations and all will be available to you. Please go through them, and you are free to make up your mind. You'll understand as to what people are talking about and how PMC is continuously lying to us. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pushkar. Yes, Ashish, I think we'll take two more questions because it's past 10 o'clock. So Ashish and then Uma. Yeah, Ashish, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Shubha. Thanks a lot. I joined a bit late, but I got the gist of what we're trying to do and we're trying to achieve and we're trying to convey to the people. I have one suggestion and probably an appeal or a question to Sarangji. The suggestion is that most of the discussion happens to be technical, while some of us understand because we've been through the flow, over the years. But for somebody to really get involved and feel the ownership, okay, all this needs to be probably explained in a language that a layman understands. Most of them may not know what a riparian zone means, or the kind of explanation that Mukundji did. Okay, while it needs to be technical, but also probably in a way which because we want people to participate, like we want people to understand. We've seen it very clearly in case of Vetal Tegri, but all that was explained very simply, and very nicely in terms of videos, in terms of pamphlet, etc. Maybe for RFD, we could look at ways to reach out to people. That's a small suggestion, a humble suggestion. A question to Sarangji, and again, I'm taking off on what he mentioned, and which we so very clearly saw during the Vetal Tegri Bachav Andolan, is this problem of environment generally is, in my opinion, I may be wrong, but it's a political problem. Okay, it's not so much of not understanding. It's a political problem. We only blaming the administration, but they are probably Katputlis in the hands of politicians, and they're driven by the politicians for lack of vision, lack of sensibility, or plain greed, in terms of what they get out of destroying the environment. So one of the things that we must do, personal capacity, is take a pledge to throw out those guys who are responsible for the mess that we are in. Okay, if we don't do that ourselves, okay, and I'm not advocating us to be politically. We need to be political conscious. We need to be politically apolitical, in terms of what we say. But internally, we need to realize that there is no point, getting the same guys who think climate change is a myth and it's not happening, okay, to rule over us. We've seen that happen very briefly during the changeover, of the Maharashtra government in particular. We saw a lot of things being reversed and then re-reversed again for the worse. Okay, so this maybe Sarangji will have a point of view on that, but I'm just taking off on what he said, and we clearly saw it happening in terms of Vetal Tegri. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish. Just I would like to add is when it comes to the river ecosystem and the whole riverfront project, I think the parameters that are involved are a lot more than the Tekadi issue. So probably it becomes a little more difficult to simplify it. Though I think we all get the point that it needs to be really simplified and brought to the common man, which we are trying in our own different ways. But just the multitude of issues are so much that one leads to the other and the other to the next one, that it becomes a little complicated to bring the whole picture. And that's why these constant communications are required. And the more we make, I think, the more we'll be able to reach people. Yeah. Yes, Uma, I think that will be the last question because we have passed 10 o'clock.
No, I don't have a question. I just have a request to everybody. And I think I should have put it before when everybody was there, that we need to share more and more on the social media. We need more people to tag their friends and families and to have more followers to on Facebook and the other social media handles. Please share all the posts of PRR, that is the Pune River Revival, on Facebook, on their Twitter, on their Insta, because it is just so happening, just 100, 200 people, or then now after the Chipko, maybe around 5,000 or maybe 7,000 people are knowing. Of course, yes, all those so-called people who say that we have got foreign currency behind us and all that, they are also looking after us now. The more they talk about us, the more people know us. But I think we need more people to, positively also talk about these things. So please, please, please share all our posts of social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Uma. And also, I would like to say that we have a YouTube channel, so you can see all the videos of people who have visited the project site, what they feel about it, and you can also visit the project site, obviously, with the walks. Also, please feel free to donate. That's another way you can contribute. If you cannot physically contribute, we are also looking at having some kind of backing up for this campaign. And obviously, we will be coming up with our next event pretty soon. So please join us on the social media handle and also on the WhatsApp group. I would like to thank all the speakers today, Mukundji, Satya, and Sarang sir, for taking out time and having a wonderful session. Thank you all. And thank you all. You're still 51 of us at 10:15 in the night on a Sunday, which is great. Thank you. And please join us, and we'll be updating you with all that we are doing. Yeah. Thank you and have a good night. Thank you.